discipline, tolerance, and production to build a strong and better nation. I say that is the main foundation. So come let us work hand in hand, because this is our land. Come my brother, come my sister, and let us build a nation together. Oh, yeah, yeah. Oh, yeah.
Yes, we could do it. We can come together and build Grenada, Carriacou, and Petit Martinique. This is our home, and we want Grenada to be transformed where our people are better off. I want to welcome you to the Dynamic Hour. I want to encourage those on Facebook, on YouTube, to please share the live. Sharing is caring. When you share the live, you give others the opportunity to be a part of the audience and also to be a part of the conversation. So please share the live. I want to start off this morning by saying the NDC is true to their promise or the many promises they made to the Grenadian people during the campaign. You know, many a times you get elected, you make promises, you get elected, and then you forget about the promises. You forget about that covenant you sign with the electorate, that agreement you sign with the voters, because they voted you into power based on what you put on the table, what you say you will do, the areas you intend to focus on. And if you are very observant, you will realize the NDC is remaining focused and also fulfilling the promises they made during the election campaign with the electorate. And that is accountability. That is a good way of governing. You came to me, you said to me, you will do X, Y, and Z, and I'm now seeing that you're actually doing that and more. And I would give you some very, you know, uh, telling examples. I will give you some very obvious examples of that. The NDC came to the electorate and they said to the voters, if you vote me into power, once we form the government, we will address the issue of pension and gratuity, even if we have to take a loan, because at the time, they really didn't know how financially sound the country was because they were outside, right? But they were so real when it comes to pension and gratuity. They made it abundantly clear. In fact, they were attacked. Many people said, well, you're not inside there. You don't know the financial health of the country. So how could you say that you're going to pay? They came under a lot of attacks from the NNP. But our beloved Prime Minister, and at the time he was the political leader of the NDC, said, look, pension and gratuity is a right. It's a must. And even if we have to take a loan to get that corrected, we will do so. Thankfully, when NDC came into power, there was some money there. They could have easily get that resolved, right? So that's one of the first major promises that were fulfilled. The pension and the gratuity promise. That's a big one. $75.1 million spent on that. And every month in going forward, the pensioners will collect their pension, their monthly pension. But that is not all. That's a big one. But remember, the NDC during the campaign also stated that they will pay fortnightly. They told the Grenadian electorate once they get elected, they will pay on a fortnightly basis. The NNP said, no, that's not possible. It won't happen. Well, come April the 15th, the NDC administration will start paying fortnightly. And that is important, very important, because they're being true to the campaign promise. They told you they will pay the retroactive pension and the gratuity to the police officers who retired, the nurses who retired, the teachers who retired, the public officers who retired and were disrespected by the NNP and were not collecting their pension. They did not receive their gratuity. The NNP came out and they said what it would cost government $1.2 billion initially. That is what they said. Then they break it down to $465 million. When the NDC came into power, they said no, it will cost the government of Grenada about 60 something million dollars. But what NDC did was join some of the public servants' years of service when they were temporary to when they got permanent and the amount of years they made. So it brought the amount that they had to pay out to 75.1 million or so dollars. But that again is a big fulfillment of that, the campaign promise. So I mentioned two: pension, retroactive pension and gratuity, and the fortnightly payment. The NDC also promised to address the minimum wage issue. The NDC said plain and simple, there are too many people in the country working for very little, and we need to address the minimum wage issue in the country. And NDC said once they get into power, they will address the minimum wage issue. Well, in fact, they put a committee in place to review, to look at the minimum wage issue, and they started the consultations.
A series of town hall meetings on minimum wage facilitated by the Ministry of Mobilization, Implementation and Transformation for the Ministry of Labor will begin next week, Wednesday, April 5th, 2023 at the GBSS Auditorium from 6 p.m. The meetings will target trade unions, the Employers Federation, as well as employers and employees to ensure there is full stakeholder representation. The objective is for the Minimum Wage Advisory Committee to gather public input on issues related to the general minimum wage, along with the sectoral, local, and gender-based wage disparities. The meetings will continue in St. David on Wednesday, April 12th from 6 p.m. Residents of St. Andrew can participate in the sessions on April 19th, Carriacou and Petite Martinique on April 26th, St. John and St. Mark on May 3rd, all beginning at 6 p.m. The series of meetings will conclude in St. Patrick on May 10th, and all will be streamed live on GIS Channel 22, the GIS Facebook and YouTube pages.
So again, very important. Very important. Kudos to the NDC. They deserve a round of applause because they promised during the election campaign to address the minimum wage issue in the country. And they put that committee in place with competent individuals to look at it. Now they are engaging in town hall style meetings to consult. They're engaging in consultations. And you heard the list of consultations there where it will be. And I'll play that from time to time so you can at least be on top of things where that is concerned. But that is important. That is very, very important. The NDC is remaining true to the campaign promises. That didn't used to happen under the NNP at all. They would promise one and they would not fulfill it. And the electorate were not holding them accountable for the promises that they made during the campaign. They would lie to the Grenadian people over and over and over again. But here you have the NDC doing it differently. They promise they will pay the retroactive pension and gratuity, and they paid that. They promise that public servants will be paid fortnightly. Come the 15th of April, that will start. They will pay you fortnightly. They promise to address the minimum wage issue in the country. The cleaners, the cooks, the folks working in the Indian store, the assistant clocks, and just name it, teachers, the police, they promise that they're going to address the minimum wage issue, the security officers, and so on. Well, they're starting the process this week. They're starting the process, and I love that. They're serious about the promises that they made to the Grenadian people. They also promise to legalize cannabis for medicinal and recreational purposes. And they put a commission in place. They have done a lot of work already. So that is well on its way. And that's a promise that they made to the electorate. And so far, so good. The commission, in fact, they have an office for that commission. I could recall playing a news item where they identified a secretariat or office area for the Cannabis Commission. And they have been consulting, meeting, engaging, and we look forward to the final outcome of that, because it would be matriculatively. They would decriminalize, then they would legalize. So it's a process. They are not going to just go full-blown into the legalization, step by step by step. Decriminalize, clean the records of people, right all the wrongs, or nearly all the wrongs, and get things going there. I love that. I really, really love that. They also, during the campaign, promised to tackle the high cost of living. We saw when the NDC came into power, they start putting relief measures in place. And only recently, some $30 million of relief measures were announced, right? Besides the others. We saw monies pumped into CES to create small businesses, employment in the small business and medium-sized business or businesses in the country that were created. People got some work. Businesses were established, Those that were existing, they were having some problems. They pumped some money into those and they were able to get back on their feet again. So they invested in that. Tax amnesty, and we can go on and on and on. A number of relief measures were put in place for our people. And the NDC continues to fulfill their promises. And they're working with a plan, NDC is working with a plan. NDC didn't come and say, well, we found oil and gas, and up to now, no oil and gas. NDC did not do that. NDC is honest with the Grenadian people. And I hope our Grenadian people are taking notes. They're observing how they are governing. Someone said to me, when you're too honest in government, it tends to come back and hunt you. Well, we are in a different dispensation where our people are more educated, more analytical, more conscious minded. And I think our people will appreciate the fact that the NDC made promises during the election campaign and they are fulfilling them. They will not be able to fulfill all in the first year or all in the second year or all in the third year because there are some other promises that they made that will be fulfilled within their term, right? So a number of things are happening. But I am saying step by step by step. We know about the temporary workers and the regularization of the workers. We know about that. There are a lot of people within the system who have been there for quite a while. They need to be regularized. They need to be made permanent. There are those who are on contract and they need to be appraised. You cannot make everybody who on contract permanent because there are some people who are on contract and they're not competent enough to execute the responsibilities and roles and so on of that said job. They were placed there because they're NNP supporters and so on. So you cannot just make everybody permanent overnight. You appraise them, you assess them, you evaluate them, and then if they're competent enough, if they're capable of executing, if they have been performing well, then you make them permanent. So the NDC is not, blindsided or stupid to just make everybody who on contract permanent. That is what the NNP wants. But the NDC is not going based on what NNP wants. No, they're executing this thing nicely. So I thought I should mention that. Some of the major promises that they made, and they have already fulfilled some of them. And it's very obvious to the simple man that the NDC is honest, they're sincere, and they're going based on what they promise the Grenadian electorate. The NDC also during the campaign said they will prioritize agriculture, healthcare, education, and the creative sector. We are seeing that. In the area of agriculture, we see the amount of training, the amount of assistance given during the CES program to fisher folks. They got top priority to get engines, to get boats. Farmers, they got equipment, they got supplies, they got the assistance with poultry farm, bee farm and so on. They were able to buy livestock and a number of other things. They really pump that money into agriculture. Also, we see markets being created or they're finding markets for things like mangoes in the United States, in Trinidad, dasheen, Trinidad, plantain, banana, green plantain, Trinidad, ginger, Trinidad, and other places. They already have markets in Europe and so on. But to get the American market now, to get the Trinidad market, that's a good thing. They're focusing heavily on that. So when you go in St. George's or Grenville, go over and you realize a lot of eggs is because the government pump a lot of money into the poultry sector. So you're finding a lot of eggs. That's a good thing because we were importing eggs at a particular time. You're finding a lot of local chicken. That's a good thing. Kudos, thumbs up to the government. They pump in a lot of money in that area. And it's now obvious because you're seeing the results of that. They pump a lot of money in agriculture. So you're seeing a lot of tomatoes, a lot of cabbages, a lot of carrots, a lot of okra, a lot of pumpkin, sweet potato, cassava. It's just there, lettuce, and it is because government is investing more and more in agriculture, in agribusiness. We see a lot of people setting up manufacturing, small, medium-sized food processing plants and so on. Minor stuff, but at least we are getting some stuff processed and, packaged and made locally. That's a good thing. The government spoke about the creative sector. We saw what they did. They're given 100% concession, VAT, CET, and so on equipment materials that the creatives, the people in that sector, use or have to use. Because when they bring it in here, it's very expensive. The tax and so on the ports, 100% concession. They set up a department for that, for the creative sector, giving priority to that area. We only recently heard of the appointment of Kijana Orlando Romain as an ambassador for the creatives to really get stuff for them. Because we have so many talented people in Grenada. But the NDC made that promise during the election campaign. They also spoke about healthcare being a priority. You see, they appointed an ambassador for health and wellness. First time focusing on that to get stuff to benefit that sector. We see the government working on the new climate smart teaching hospital facility. They're not just talking, they're doing, they're doers. All right? We see medical stations or clinics being renovated, being reconditioned, upgraded. We see supplies going to Carriacou, PT Martinique, and throughout Grenada to improve that sector. We see a lot of investment being placed on getting more nurses, more doctors. That is a good thing, a very good thing. Nurses and doctors are now more appreciated by this government. We saw what the nurses got, $500 more on their salaries as an incentive, as an allowance. Remember, the NNP took the allowance that they were giving the nurses away from them. I can't remember how much money, I don't know if it was $200 and something or $300 and something. But they took that away from them. The NNP took that allowance away from them, right? But the NDC gave them $500 on their salary as an allowance. That's a good thing, a very good thing, right? So more and more. In fact, the NDC is also concerned about mental health and rehabilitation. That is why they're working so hard on the Carlton home or the Carlton house. Because, if a person has some alcohol problem or some kind of minor issue, well, let me not say minor, have that kind of issue there and they have to be rehabilitated and so on, they put them in the same psychiatric hospital at Mongi. You don't want that, right? So they're working overnight to fulfill those things because they prioritize health and wellness. They also prioritize education. And that's a big thing for the NDC. In fact, only this week, they announced some $34 million of scholarship, right? They announced that.
Roughly 24 hours after the teachers signed their agreement for more benefits, more than 34 million EC dollars in scholarships were awarded for the academic year commencing in January 2023. Recipients are attending St. George's University, the University of the West Indies, and others at the secondary level. Details in this report by Annette Moore.
a very long report there. Normally, if I get a 2 minutes piece or a 3 minutes piece, then I would play it easily. But when it's 8 and 9 and 10 minutes and so on, it's very lengthy. But you get the substance. $34 million going towards scholarships and opportunities for our people. We also saw when the NDC came into power, because they prioritized education, they decided, you see that doc salary, the 1 point something million dollars, let me just pay them teachers and them the money, so we can get intercall, we can get the extracurricular activities and so on back on stream. The debates, the just name it, the after school classes, and they make sure they sort out that doc salary and pay them teachers and then back their money. The TAMCC protests and strike and so on that the NNP created, the mess that they created there. The NDC say, you see that? Let me engage these people, the teachers and the faculty there, and pay them the money. So they pay them 4 point something million dollars, and they enter into agreement to pay them the balance of money, piece, at different timing or different time, right? And that was a good thing, a very good thing. Only recently, the NDC was able to sign a historic agreement with the teachers. This is big, 13% increase.
More than 1,800 teachers in Grenada will benefit from a 13% pay increase to be paid incrementally over the period 2023 to 2025. With government and the executive of the Grenada Union of Teachers sealing the deal on the collective agreement for salary and fringe benefits, teachers will receive 4% increase in 2023 and 2024 and 5% in 2025. Prime Minister Honorable Deacon Mitchell, who witnessed the signing on Wednesday, commended GUT's President General and his team for maintaining a cordial atmosphere that ensured teachers were well represented. He encouraged other unions to meet and negotiate with government to avoid backlogs, as was the case in the past.
I certainly always wish we can give more. And if the GDP grows, if the resources grows, then certainly the teachers and all workers have my own commitment, and I think the commitment of the government, to be as fair as we can, bearing in mind that all resources are finite. So I think the spirit in which the negotiations were conducted was critical, and I think that led to the fact that the parties could have sat around the table and negotiated and come to an agreement themselves, without having to call upon the Labour Commissioner or without having to resort to any type of industrial action. And in that sense, I want to thank and praise the GUT for showing, I think, leadership within the industrial sector as to how to go about conducting its business, encouraging the other unions to follow the example set by the Grenada Union of Teachers in coming to speedy terms with the government in concluding the negotiations. And it's important because, as was pointed out, we are moving to bi-monthly payments on the 15th of April, and we would certainly want to be in a position where all government workers, all public sector workers employed by the state can in fact benefit from the increases in their salaries almost immediately, and so that we don't have to deal with the complications and the administrative task of retroactive payments.
Deputy Chair of the government's negotiating team, Lindana Hilaire Marshall, is happy with the outcome of the process, which she says...
Right, so again, you get the substance of that agreement. And look, I am playing all of this and telling you all of this so that you will not forget. The NDC is true to their word, and all the promises they made, they're sticking to them. The focus areas, you're seeing things happening in those areas, and it's something that we need to document so that people will know the NDC said they will do X, Y, and Z, and they're doing it, because our people tend to forget quickly. And I told you yesterday, the NNP is hoping that we, the people, will forget about all of these good things, because they keep happening. They keep coming. A friend told me by the time year end or the next year or two, NDC will run out of things to do, because NDC is genuine about the development of the country. They are serious about bettering the living standard of our people. And we need to be honest with ourselves, because it could be a curse if you're not honest enough to admit that good things are happening for our people. It is not all perfect, and it will never be. But good things are happening for our Grenadian brothers and sisters. Only yesterday, someone called me and said, Kem Jones, they're able to go to Barbados in the morning and come back to Grenada in the evening. That was not a reality in the past. There were all kinds of problems with Liat, and Keith would always be out there making melee, bacchanal confusion, in my belief. But the Honorable Deacon Mitchell is not interested in confrontation. He's interested in results, because he's results-based oriented, getting the job done, getting things for our people. Every time he goes out there, he comes back with stuff that the Grenadian people can be proud of, you know. And he's still humble, still meek, still mild. And that is the significant thing about our Prime Minister and about the team of men and women around him. And we want to commend them. They're doing an excellent job. And more, we are seeing it. Some people thought when the NDC comes into power, all the social safety net programs and so on would just vanish. But they continue. All the social safety net programs continue. They're paying, they're doing all the normal stuff, and more and more. That is important. But folks, I want to open up the line. The number to call is 415-4817. We have 12 minutes remaining in the program for this morning. So if you want to call, you can. The number to call again is 415-4817, 415-4817. And once you call, I will bring you live. 415-4817. What I love also is that Carriacou and Petite Martinique is not left out. They are seen as equals in the developmental process of this country. So as Grenada transforms, as Grenada moves forward, when I say Grenada, the state, they're not leaving out Carriacou and Petite Martinique, because Grenada is a state and it includes Carriacou and Petite Martinique. And that's beautiful, because Carriacou and Petite Martinique always used to be like stepchildren. They were never treated fairly. And I hope they observe that and they appreciate that they are treated fairly, they are treated equally, and in some cases, they are getting even more. Every time you hear something happening in Carriacou, look at the kind of infrastructural work that is happening up there, and also here in Grenada. It's remarkable, and we need to give credit where credit is due. The NDC is doing an excellent job. Good morning, caller.
Hello, good morning.
Good morning.
Hey, how are you?
I am fine, thanks. And you?
Well, I'm always smiling. I'm one of the happiest men in Grenada today. Believe me, I want to congratulate the NDC on the performance in the few months they have been in office. This is what Grenada needs. I stand that other Grenadians open their eyes. All these people, in fact, I tell you what, I have lots and lots of friends who once supported the NNP. But as I speak to those people, I can't think of one friend. They're all saying Kit is finished once and for all. You know, what we see in government is a visionary. This young man is a visionary, no doubt about that.
And you
we have to thank God.
And you were a minister during the NNP reign in power.
Well, not just the minister. You know, I was also the general secretary for quite some time.
Right, but here it is. The reason why I say that, the difference in governance, you can actually red flag the difference so easily that the NDC is fulfilling their promises that they made with the electorate, and they're doing even more. And that is a level of accountability that didn't used to happen under the NNP period.
I agree 100%. Honestly, as I say, my only regret in life And I want every Grenadian at home and abroad to hear this. My only regret in life is having been introduced to Kit Mitchell. I thought I knew him, but it took me many, many years to find out that he has no interest in the people of Grenada. And I ought to know because I was very closely aligned to him. Once again, kudos to the NDC. Every time I think of the NDC and the performance I'm seeing, it makes me so happy. If I had any health issues, just seeing what they're doing would be a cure. You know, my high blood pressure is more or less gone. Kudos again to the NDC. Have a nice
Thank
day.
you. Thank you very much. Thank you very much there. Thank you very much there, caller. Thank you very much indeed. And look, it's a genuine feedback, a genuine observation. People are seeing the NDC as results based oriented, and they're sincere about Grenada. They want good for Grenada. But again, folks, the number is 415-4817, 415-4817. That's the number to call. And if you are patriotic, you will come to that conclusion that NDC is about Grenada. They want good for you and your family. Everything will not come at once, but over time, things will happen, and you will be a part of that process. If you have not yet been involved in it, you need to understand that everything can come just one lick. But boy, so far, so good. I want to applaud the NDC, and we must document it. We must talk about how genuine they are when it comes to the promises they made uh, versus what they're actually doing, what they're actually fulfilling. They're on same length, same level. So they made some promises, and let's look now at whether they're fulfilling them. Yes, they are fulfilling those promises, step by step by step. We still have 7 minutes in the program. If you want to comment, if you want to speak, if you want to chime in, you can. The number is 415-4817. 415-4817. Still have some time. But again, we need to document it. We need to say to our people, this is a new era. This is a new governance style where the government is accountable to the people. Yes, you will have or critics. Yes, you would have people out there who are going to hate, who are going to talk bad, who are going to invent all kinds of misinformation and falsehoods and so on. You can't run away from that. You cannot. But by and large, the Grenadian people are able to say, yes, the NDC is doing X, Y, and Z, and they said they were going to do it. And that is remarkable. So again, let us continue to support them, support what they are doing. I just hope that the political style of you wanting personal things change a bit. Good morning, caller. Good morning. Hello. Good morning. All right. Good morning. Hello. Hello. Okay. All right. No problem. Again, the number 415-4817, 415-4817. Because I'm actually saying good morning there, and no one is. Let me see this here. Good morning. Okay. I don't know what's going on. Right. Right. Good morning, caller. All right. 2 or 3 people are trying to get me there, but I don't. Good morning.
Hello, good morning.
Hi, good morning. How are you doing?
I'm doing good, and I just have to call you. And I'm on my way home from work. I'm calling from Brooklyn, New York,
All right.
and I'm listening to your program and what God has sent. I even before that election, I said God sent say somebody to deliver Grenadian, and if the I am Caracunian, and I said if these people doesn't take it and do the right thing, they'll get what coming to them. And that day,
Right.
I want to say congratulations for your program, and I'm listening it. I'm tuning into all of the program, but I didn't get chance to call. But seeing that I get chance this morning, I said let me just call you and wish you all the best on your program, and
All
I'll be
right.
listening. And I know that things is happening.
All right. Thank you
So
very
you have a
much.
blessed day.
Wonderful. Thank you.
Okay.
Thank you very much, Jay Caller. Thank you very much indeed. Thank you very much indeed. Yeah, things are happening, and we are extremely proud of the team. They're doing a lot. But as I was saying earlier, we hope the mindset of our people will change, because our people are so accustomed to the personal benefits, like them getting something in their hands, the kind of personal thing. We hope that that would change. That it's good for Grenada, it's good for them. Good morning, caller.
Hi, good morning, Kim.
Good morning. How are you doing?
Yeah, um, I am so happy to the program and to the things that is going on in Grenada. I left Grenada over 30 years, and finally I decide to move back home. So when I come home on vacation for August, that's it. I'm not even coming back here. Giving up my job and just move back home because, man, it is so nice to see and to hear what is going on. I feel happy as a Grenadian, and I'm happy to come back home and to enjoy Grenada and what is going on in Grenada right now. So thank you to you and all the ministers for what they're doing. God bless.
Wonderful. Thank you very much. Yes, and a lot of our people are coming back home and build and settle in. And as I always say to a friend or a couple of people I meet, I say once healthcare is prioritized, once that is where it's supposed to be, because people want to come back home, but they want a improved healthcare system. Once that is okay, and people are at peace, and people would come back home and build and invest in their own country, and that is a very good thing. Let's take that call. Good morning. Good morning, caller.
Morning, Kim.
Good morning. How you doing?
Well, body up and down, but I'm not
Yeah.
giving up. I'm calling your friend from Golf Course.
Yes.
You know what I want to find out from you, if you could help me? Um,
Yeah, go ahead.
we minister for the South down here.
Uh-huh.
This outlet office was down by the gas station going down to take after you pass the roundabout. And I understand he moved, so I want to check him because every Thursday it was beyond the outlet office. So I don't know if you know where it is.
Oh, I don't know where it is for now, but I'll find out. I would find out for you, right?
Yeah, that
Oh,
is your friend in Gulf Coast. I
yes.
want to visit him.
All right, I'll find out. No problem.
You'll do that for me and check me back.
Yeah, no,
Don't
yeah, and
forget
I'll,
me,
I'll maybe
darling.
tonight I could just announce it. All right.
Ah,
Tonight I'll just announce where it is.
right.
Okay.
And God bless you, darling, and keep up your good work, sir.
All right. Thanks.
Right.
Right. Thank you very much. Thank you very much. Yes. So that is not hard to find. Andy Williams' office in the south of the island. I don't know exactly where it is, right? But I know it moved. I know they move it from there to another location. So once I get that info, I will share it with you, my dear. We're almost out of time. So again, we're almost out of time. It's about what? Some seconds again, and then we have to wrap it all up. We have to wrap it all up. I don't know exactly the location, so I will get that and I will share it with you. We're almost out of time. Uh, hello, hello,
Good morning, Minister Ken June.
hello,
I'm calling from the South St. John's Parliament.
hello. Hi, hello. All right. That person has some problems with the phone there. Folks, I want to thank you very much for being a part. All right. So somebody saying, hey, it's behind Mrs. Pascal Laundry in Montu. So my good friend, Miss Smart, a friend is saying to me, it is behind Mrs. Pascal Laundromat in Montu. Just behind it, that's where the office is. All right. So that's where it is in Montu, behind the laundromat in Montu. Maybe I would mention it again tonight. Folks, take good care. I have to wrap it up now. Take good care and have a wonderful, wonderful morning. Bye for now. Bye for now. Take good care. And bye for now. We're out of time. We are out of time. All right? We're out of time.
The proceeding was a paid program. The views expressed on this program are those of the host and guests of this program and not the views of this radio station.